Hello and welcome to Mariners Rundown.
I'm
Uh,
I'm sorry. You started over. Started over.
hello and welcome to Mariners Rundown. My name is Jake from Raise the Trident. Thank you for stopping by, listening to this. Hopefully, on it would be Friday morning before we face the Angels in Anaheim. And yeah, we got a lot to go over. I apologize to any of the subscribers on my channel as far as my uploading frequency recently. Obviously, I had all the stuff with my in-person interviews with the Aqua Sox, which was a really great time. So if you haven't checked that out already, go ahead and check it out. Interviewed Ty Pete, Johnny Farmello, Colt Emerson, and a few other guys. And really, it was just kind of after that, I was put a lot of time into that, and just wanted to take a minute to kind of chill out after that. But we're back into it, and unfortunately, it's not going to be the most positive episode when it comes to Mariner stuff ever, but that's okay because I got some people to help me talk through this as like a group therapy session. So yeah, you can see to my right, to my right if you're watching this, that's right. We got two dudes, two bubbly boys, and
Bubbly.
yeah, and two partners in crime, and they might be partners, we don't know necessarily. It's
Whoa!
gonna be the dude.
It is Pride Month, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I have Joe and Colton from Mariner Mojo for their first Mariners Rundown appearance. Not their first time at all on my channel, but yeah, how's it going, guys?
I, I'm doing
Awful.
good, man. Yeah, I'm doing good because I think it's funny that this is called the Mariners Rundown when
With the
clearly
three
none of the
fattest
three of us
guys.
run. We're all
Yeah.
over. We
Yeah.
don't run.
Yeah, very true. How are you doing, Joe?
You know, things are okay. Things could be better, but I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive, and that's what counts. And I wish the Mariners were playing better baseball.
Yep. Yeah, well, we're going to get into that. Before we get into it, obviously, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video as well. It helps me out a lot. You can comment down below, whatever the heck you want. I really don't care. You can always go check out the Mariner Mojo guys on their YouTube channel. And both of us, both pods, they have the Hit It Here podcast. I have this and Mariners Rundown. Both are on audio platforms as well. So you can find us on Spotify and Apple. And I don't know if they have other platforms they distribute to, but that's where I am. So yeah, check them out. But we got to get into it. So the Mariners have they just finished today their second straight losing homestand. Okay. Uh, it was just really tough watches all week. It felt like, so they start off with a series loss against the Washington Nationals. That's awesome to say. But then they come back with a series win against the Minnesota Twins. So you're like, okay, maybe they're kind of fighting it back a little bit, even though they really had to eke it out, which is a little annoying. I know the Twins have been pretty hot the last like month and a half or so, but regardless, it was just frustrating. And then, yeah, we ended up today not only losing the series against the Baltimore Orioles, we got swept at home against the Baltimore Orioles in 3 games, which makes us now at 32-29 record going into the morning of Friday the 6th. We're currently 1 game back of the Houston Astros for first place in the AL West, and 4.5 games ahead of the Texas Rangers who are in 3rd place right now. So, yeah, how are you guys feeling off of just a really dreadful homestand?
Go ahead, Joe.
You want me to go? All right.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun. So the day when they walked off the Twins in the final game, uh, Colton and we were together to record a podcast, I believe, right? Was that
Yeah.
right? And they tweeted something like the vibes are high after a series win.
Yeah.
And you immediately were like, no, they're not. Those two walk-offs, one, that should have never had to happen to begin with. You probably could have swept that series against the Twins. Like, yes, I'm being ungrateful to a series win, the 2 of the 3 wins that they got during this homestand. But it's like they were like polishing a turd. They packaged up a piece of poop, put it in a box, and said, "Here you go." Like, congratulations. It's like what it felt like for that series win against the Twins. Yes, it was a Cole Young walk-off in his debut. Very awesome. Yes, they win the series with a walk-off with Randy. Sure, there is some positives there. But outside of that, this homestand was absolutely dreadful. The bullpen imploded. The offense disappeared for what, 7 of the 9 games, it felt like. And it's only continuing to look like more compounding things that just keep adding up and stacking up on top of each other that I don't know how they're going to pull themselves out of it, because we've seen teams similar to this or iterations of this not do it previous years. And with Dan Wilson under the helm, I don't know how he's going to react. How will you respond, Dan Wilson? You know, they're saying you're smoke too tough or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect for this Angel series coming up, because this team doesn't look like they can go out there and put together a full 9 innings of complete baseball right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that what I've been saying a lot over the past, 2 weeks or so, ad nauseum, if you will, is I've been saying that this team at the trade deadline could either be 10 games up in the division or 10 games back, and I wouldn't be surprised either way. Just because I feel like they're so inconsistent. We mentioned how good the offense was, at the beginning of the year. They were top three, top four a lot in offense through the month of April. And then all of a sudden, since May 9th, because Joe and I just talked about that in the podcast today, since May 9th, which was the beginning of the Blue Jays series, correct?
Yeah.
The beginning of the Blue Jays series, they are like 23rd in baseball
I think
or something.
25th.
25th in baseball in WRC plus and 23rd in ERA, like as a whole. And so that's a bad baseball team. That's straight up a bad baseball team. Bottom third of the league. Bad baseball team. And that's what we've been seeing a lot. You mentioned the Twin series, for example, and even the last game versus the Nationals. That's a game you definitely should have won. Like, but you blow it. You blow it in the ninth or the 10th inning when, you have Colin Snyder come in, give up 6 runs. You have Casey Legumina come in and give up 6 runs. You should always feel comfortable handing a 3-run lead to Andres Munoz. He is going to convert that save 9 times out of 10. But unfortunately, the one time he didn't, it was K-pop fireworks night. I was at the ballpark. That happened. He blew that lead. First, I was devastated that his ERA was going to go up. Then I was devastated he blew the lead. But I'm like, they might be able to get it in extras and send this off on a walk-off into K-pop fireworks night. And then that happened, and that just set the tone. I just stared at the fireworks, just 1,000-yard stare. It was terrible. Next day, we had the Mariner Mojo meetup, Cole Young's debut. And what do? I mean, they win, but they give it up in the ninth inning again. Yep. Then they do it again on Sunday. And so it's like Joe said, it's like they've been polishing a turd. And I mean, what's admin supposed to do? You know what I mean? Of course, Mariners admin needs to try to get you hyped up. But man, I mean, just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? Like this team is not good right now. And I think that's just, hopefully they can turn around on the road trip.
Yeah, and it's no shade to the admin or especially whoever's working the SMS messages, because after those 2 walk-offs, it's like, oh, it's electric here. We have tickets available for the Baltimore Orioles, and it's like, oh great, all those fans just wasted their money these last 3 days going to the ballpark, and I feel terrible for them. But it's just one of those things where it's like it feels like we have a very Jekyll and Hyde team right now. The first month and a half were fantastic baseball. We were definitely riding high, and then the last about month and a half, feels like 2024 levels, but this time a little bit different, obviously with the struggling pitching too. So it's not like we're watching like a Felix Hernandez game every single night like 2024 was. It's been, both sides have been really bad, and and it's like weird. I'm looking at the probable pitchers website right now, and it's like I look at George Kirby, 0-3, 8.56 ERA. That is such a horrible, like I cannot imagine
what happened to my goat.
Yeah, could not have imagined seeing that before this series started, or sorry, the season started. And then the same thing with Bryce Miller. His ERA is over 5 right now. So it's just it is rough. I mean, you've really only had 2 solid starting pitchers consistently in Brian Wu and Luis Castillo. I'll give Hancock and to an extent Evans their flowers as far as, they've held it down pretty well as well. But it's tough because you just can't trust literally anyone in that bullpen right now. I mean, obviously, you still trust Munoz. Like, you're still going to go to him in a safe situation for the time being. You're still going to Spire's still been looking fine, and Brash has been looking really good too. He's actually been really surprising because he is still, his velo isn't as high as it was in 2023, but I mean, he's been just as effective for the most part. Maybe not as much swing and miss as we were used to back then. But regardless, he's been really solid, which has been nice. But it's like everyone else, you just cannot you cannot rely on. Like, you put them in the game if you're up or tied, and you're really just like hoping they can manage to like kind of like luck their way into a successful outing, and that's not really a good recipe for success. And in general, the biggest thing though has been the offense, and I have a couple tweets to go over that have been very eye-opening. So from at Mike Varell on Twitter, the Mariners' first 30 games, they were top 6 in runs, walks, percentage, on base percentage, slugging, and OPS. The Mariners' last 30 games, they're either 21st or lower in all of those categories. And then Daniel Kramer, who writes for MLB.com for the Mariners, put out that over the Mariners' 5-10 stretch dating back to May 20th, Cal Raleigh is slugging 345, 424, 862 with 9 home runs. Everyone else is slashing 214, 277, 304 with 9 home runs. So
the OPS. Say the OPS, Jake.
And a 581 OPS for everyone
Cal's
else
was 1,200.
and Cal's has been 1286.
Like,
so
insane discrepancy.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things, and I don't remember who said it, but someone said it, like, it feels like this team is relying on Cal homering, and if he doesn't, then they're gonna lose that game. And we even saw that today. Like, he did homer, he did drive in a run,
all 3 runs,
and that was it. He was literally the only offense they had. I mean, granted, like, JP Crawford's been really solid recently, and he got on base. And so, I mean, I'm not talking about JP. I'm just talking about everyone else has been terrible. And especially in these clutch situations recently, where it just feels like you have to get a hit, you have to get something here. And then Julio Rodriguez goes to bat, and he's back to, like, April 2024, where he's swinging out shoes, he's doing 3 strike or 4 pitch strikeouts, where he's swinging out all of them when whiffing. Randy Arozarena has been I'll probably get to it later a little bit, but man, his strikeouts have been rough, and I will get to a certain part of his strikeouts later on in the show. But yeah, about the offense, guys, I guess another thing where it's just like general thoughts. I mean, there's really not one thing to talk about with this offense, but what's coming to your mind when you're thinking about the offensive struggles recently?
I saw a tweet, and it mentioned Julio, Cal, Dylan Moore, and JP Crawford.
It was Jage.
Was it Jage? Yeah, it was their numbers. And then it was everybody else, right? And everybody else has accumulated a total of like 0.2 WAR this year. And it's terrible. The numbers are terrible. I don't have them off the top of my head, but it's like you're relying on, and to an extent, I feel like we kind of knew that going into the season, right? We knew that you can't rely on Miles Mastroboni to be the guy this season. You can't rely on, Rowdy Tellez, who signed a minor league deal with you, to carry the freight. Now, he's been fine, and largely Rowdy has been your only source of offense over there, though he is still worth negative WAR. Obviously, Donovan Solano has been an absolute train wreck. Dylan Moore's fallen off the face of the earth. Like, this offense, there's no consistency to it. I'm just saying, I want to talk about Julio really quick, Jake. I'm just saying, over his past 30 games, he's hitting 280, 318, 440.
Yeah.
So
when I brought him up, I was totally meaning like this homestand or the last like series or two. I think he's been rough.
By and large, he's been good. It's just there have been pockets of moments, which is going to happen through a full 162, where he does kind of look lost. He gets isolated in at bats, and he does start to look like he's chasing for, like, he just doesn't have. He lost whatever approach he felt like he had, where he did cut out in his strikeout rate a ton in May, but there's just it feels like he picks the worst moment to have the worst at bat in a 7-day period. It's like, all right, Julio, what are you going to do? And it's like, I'm going to stand there and swing out of my ass 3 pitches in a row, and I'm not going to make contact with any of them. How does that sound? It's like the worst time to do it, but you do you, big dog. Like, it's just, it's a little,
well, and I'm curious,
not like concerning, but like, ooh.
Yeah. And I guess to pose kind of a theory here is, he was, he's been decent this year in general. Like, I'm not going to say he's been bad or anything. I feel like he's been just overshadowed by Cal, and I think that's really what's
Yeah.
made it where you just don't really recognize how like decent he's been, especially for a guy who a lot of the narrative around him is that he has these super slow starts and all that, and then he had a not so slow start, but then hey, his teammate had a is still on an absolute scorcher from the first game on, right? And then even a little bit of that was Jorge Polanco early on too, taking a
Yeah.
bit of the limelight, but it kind of has felt like over the years, it feels like when Julio is struggling the most is when the team in general has been struggling the most. And he's like, and his at bats look like a guy who is trying to do too much. He is trying to hit that 500-foot home run and kind of like bring a spark to the team. And it's tough because I mean, he's done that before, but like never when they've been struggling. He's never done it like in that way. And it's tough because Cal's the only guy who is doing that right now and actually succeeding, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I wonder if part of the reason he's looked so rough the last, 5-ish games, maybe a little bit longer, is because he can like sense that kind of downward spiral that they're on right now, and he's kind of trying to take it upon himself to kind of be that spark. And I think that's what's tough about Julio in the sense of his role with the team, right? Like he should be that guy who comes up in those big moments and lends that spark, but it just feels like more often than not he does not. And it's like I know that's been a bit of a thing about his career, like him being clutch or not. And I know the numbers, I guess, technically support that he is clutch.
Yeah.
The eye test says he isn't. I'm
I know.
sorry,
Every
like
single time it's like everyone's chanting Julio, it's going to be three straight strikes where he just
yeah,
looks like a fool. It's like the stigma behind it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Fulio, Joe? Fulio?
Julio?
yeah. So do you guys feel like that's part of it? Maybe he's just feels kind of like that downward spiral right now and is trying to do too much, or do you think it's just simply like he's just in a pocket right now where, even that maybe isn't his problem. He's just having a tough time seeing the ball or something.
Julio knows that he needs to be the guy or is supposed to be the guy. I mean, we said it going into the season. This team's going to go as far as Julio will take them. Now, of course, we didn't expect Cal Raleigh to put up MVP type numbers, and we can't expect Cal Raleigh to do it the rest of the year either. But I mean, hey, if he does, I'll be fun.
Unless.
Unless he has the chance to do the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
But I think that with Julio, he just gets in his head. You know what I mean? He like you mentioned, feels the pressure, feels like he needs to be somebody he's not, or maybe isn't at the time, right? People are going to go through slumps. It's going to happen no matter who you are. Ken Griffey Jr. went through slumps. It's not letting it compound, getting your feet under you and turning it around as fast as you can. And to Julio's credit, like you said, he's had a good start to the year comparatively compared to his other starts to the year over his first 4 seasons. But like when it comes to that big moment, it's just not getting too anxious up there. It's staying within yourself. You don't need to hit the 500-foot home run. I mean, we've seen it a couple times this year where he just slaps a double right field. Just takes the ball the other way. Both times versus Brian Abreu, I think it was, and scores a couple of runs versus the Astros. Like that's the kind of Julio we need in those situations, not the Julio that we saw in the Braves series a few years ago, where he came back and hit that home run to tie the game after Paul Sewald had given it up. We don't need that Julio every night. We need the Julio that is within himself and takes the ball where it's pitched.
I mean, I'll take the game tying homer Julio. I
Oh
get your
yeah.
Yeah.
point though. I
Oh
get your
yeah.
point though. Like in the sense of not selling out for power every single time and trying to yank one through the O in the T-Mobile Park sign. I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm kind of here for the Julio's underrated era. Like I think I could get behind like the whole commentary about Julio's overpaid and obviously Cal overshadowing him in May, Polanco overshadowing him in April. Like I'm not gonna say that if Julio is still going to be kind of like written off by just baseball fans in general. Because yes, he has not necessarily lived up to the same hype that maybe Bobby Witt Jr. and him were like kind of put on the same pedestal in 2022. That he has not really lived up to that same level, like that caliber of player. I think Julio's a type of player though that if he is starting to understand that people are underrating him, he will work all that much more to get back or even get ahead of where he once was. He was a right fielder coming up all throughout the Mariner system. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to be fast AF. Let me go play center field. Let me start throwing out the no fly zone left and right. And he did that. Like things he did that. I think if Julio continues to kind of have this narrative surrounding him about who he is as a player and like what his body of work is, and even with a stronger start in 24 than years like 22 and 20 or 25, a stronger start in 25 than years like 22, 23, and 24, and people are still kind of like underrating him in that scenario, like we're still, and it's never a guarantee that he does have a nuclear month in the summer, but it's been penciled in, it feels like every single year. When that does happen, if I mean, his numbers by the end of the year should theoretically look better than any of his previous years based on how the start has gone. And then he'll enter in that conversation of like, oh, maybe we were undervaluing valuing Julio, and he kind of like ascended past where he once was, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's this is not to say that he's had a bad start. I mean, I'm really
Of
talking about
course.
more just the last like homestand has been we've kind of starting to see those signs a little bit of like what he was looking like in early 2024. But I think a lot of that is just everyone around him struggling for the most part. I mean, Cal's not, JP's not, but
The whole
Randy's really
team's in a
struggling right
in a
now.
slump.
And of course, yeah, the lower half of the lineup is really bad right now. So going into we'll talk a little trade deadline in the sense of uh the trade deadline is really far out there. It's not close, and a trade is not going to happen tomorrow. I mean, it obviously could, but realistically, here we're at least still a month, if not more, away from any significant trades occurring, at least with the Mariners. So I guess my biggest thing are, we don't necessarily know who all is going to be sellers or buyers right now, but are there any guys you guys have your eyes on? And I guess the more important question is, do you think they're going to be able to survive until then?
God, I mean, the Passan article came out and we were like, oh, yeah, they're playing the Orioles, a team that's going to be a seller in Passan's article. And then they got swept by them. It's like, oh, good. Now what do we do? And it felt like that during the 23 deadline where they were kind of playing in that state of limbo where they could be buyers, they could be sellers. They didn't play well enough leading up to the deadline to fully buy in. So they had to kind of play both where they trade Paul Sewald, get a couple pieces back, and then we know Edward Bizardo, big deadline move there in 2023, our
Mm-hmm.
guy. So I could see it's really tough because with where the way that they look right now, I would say that that's where I would pencil them in at as like soft sellers, but still like trying to augment to win. Maybe not necessarily in the same way like the Tigers facilitated last year, where they traded Jack Flaherty and like got some pieces back. And then obviously they just went on a heater that was kind of unheard of. But I think there's obvious holes on this team and they have the farm system to make the moves necessary to improve in those areas. It's just a matter of, is it going to be worth it for them to make those moves when it comes time if they've played well enough baseball over the next month? And people could say that like they could go 500 over the next whatever, however many games and be 3 games over around the deadline. And that's great. That's definitely perfectly within reason to be buying with the 3 wild cards and with how mid the American League West has looked. Being 3 games above 500 by, All-Star break could very well be first in the American League West. I sure as hell hope not, because then we're just going to continue to get laughed at as a division. And who knows like what the rest of it's going to look like at that point. But that's definitely a position to still buy if they're treading water, because then you'll just get better beyond that trade, in my opinion. And there's, like I said, obvious holes, but it's first base, third base, and like bullpen for me
Mhm.
pretty safely.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that, and Jake, you mentioned this, like we're probably about a month away from anything getting done, any sort of trades kind of working their way through. And I think there's a couple reasons for that, right? A lot of teams don't want to sell right now because A, they either don't know if they're going to be in it or not. B, if they wait later, there's going to be more of a bidding war for a lot of their players. And C, a lot of teams specifically right now are really honing in on their draft strategy for what they're going to do in the 2025 draft. And so there's so much going on. Now, are the Mariners going to make it till the trade deadline? The way they look, hell no. Now, you know that Logan Gilbert's coming back. Luke Raley's going on a rehab assignment next week. Awesome. Cool. If the Mariners, so you asked for some names. I'm just going to throw some out there. If the Mariners can make a trade right now, the guys that I would look at is Ryan O'Hearn, who we just saw, who played really well. Nathaniel Lowe is a guy that I think is out there that could be had. Eugenio Suarez, bring Gino home. The Diamondbacks have been terrible, which means they're probably going to sweep us this week, but that's fine. Those three. I mean, if you're getting Nathaniel Lowe, can you get Kyle Finnegan? If you're getting Ryan O'Hearn, could you get like Yanir Cano? You know what I mean? Or someone like that. Even Andrew Kittredge, the drunk uncle. Um,
Please, I'm
like,
begging.
can you augment this team like we saw them do in 2018 with the Denard Span and Alex Colomé trade that was made on May like 27th to go out there and fix the problems with this team? They went out and got Carlos Santana when Ty France got hurt this year. So I guess they got Leody Taveras. I guess you can count that a little bit, but that was kind of a different scenario, obviously, because he had been DFA'd. So can they hold out until then? I don't know, but there's definitely guys out there that could be had. And if any farm system is going to be able to force a trade right now, it's the Mariners. The Mariners have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball. If they feel strongly about this team, if they feel like this team is going where it needs to go, and they think they have the capital in their organization to make a trade, they should do it. That's what good baseball teams do. You're going to have great picks during the draft. You're going to have number 3 and number 35. You'll be able to restock relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think they're, regardless of how they're playing right now, they're in pretty good standing to be significant buyers when it comes to the deadline now. It's hard because I just don't see how they're going to be able to plug both the corner infield positions and bullpen, because realistically they probably need like 2 pen arms and both first base and or third base. So it's like, what are the biggest priorities there? And a bullpen is certainly, I think, at the top right now, just because it feels like the bullpen, you just can't trust really anyone. So it would be nice to have another leverage arm. And I know Ty and Colby said this on Locked On, like just another kind of mid reliever guy as well, which is fine. And I just still think there are maybe some internal options that they can do. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him, but Soren Lau was kind of cool. I mean, he came up, he pitched 1 inning, got 3 Ks, and then got sent right back down. I'm like, what are we doing? He just struck out the side, dude. Give him some time. Like, I don't get it, but
Matt Cronin, another one, Matt Cronin.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish, and it would be like my wet dream if Shintaro Fujinami could get some control, dude. Oh my gosh, he'd be so sick to watch.
You're what?
Yeah, if he could get some good control, like, oh my gosh, he'd be such a. Oh yeah, you're doing a camera trick now. Did his camera not just change?
Did it?
I could have swore it did. I saw it like glitch or something. That was weird. I don't know if it like zoomed out or something. Oh, what the heck is going on here? Okay. So
audio listeners are confused.
Yeah, Joe's being weird. But yeah, but I feel like with bullpen, like you at least need to get like 2 more outside of your org arms, and I think there's maybe a couple you could try out that might work a little bit better than like guys like Colin Snyder and who else. I don't know about Legumina, but who knows what Thornton's going to be like when he gets back. So we'll see on Thornton. But as far as first base goes, I think first base is definitely going to happen in the sense that it sounds like the first base market is going to be very stock full this year, which is really nice. So it's cool that like one position in need should be like good to go. It makes me a little sad. That means I don't know if we'd lose Tellez if we got a first baseman. I don't know what would happen to him. I guess he would just be like he's a strong side platoon right now though. So I don't know.
I think he would serve as like a bench pinch hitter.
Yeah, probably.
Or like
we need a home run right now. Let's put Tellez in. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, or just like a DH day every once in a while.
Solano
Like
would be gone for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Solano would go before. Like, even if you go out and get O'Hearn or Naylor, both lefty first baseman, you're still going to roster Tellez over Solano just on the principle of like
Yeah.
what Tellez can do with one at bat versus what Solano can do in if you give him three at bats against lefty. Like I don't care. It
Hmm.
has not worked. There's no reason to continue to try and make it work. It's never going to happen. Fetch is never going to happen. It's not going to work. Go with Tellez instead of Solano if
Yep.
they do make a move at first base.
Yeah, but that's where it leaves me on, do they get someone for third base? Because Williamson, I'm sorry, like he's playing fine defense, and I know some people have said like, oh, his defensive metrics aren't down. He's looked fine to me. I mean, he's made like a couple errors or whatever, but other than that, like he's made. I think the way I'm looking at Williamson is a little bit different than I would like any other player, in the sense that I'm like, the people we've seen at third base, would they have been able to make this play? No. So therefore, defense good. Like,
He's checking the box just on that principle alone.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he saved some runs with some really nice plays. So there's that. But at the same time, his bat's just kind of, I mean, sorry, brother, but I can only watch you foul off enough balls before you strike out or hit a ground ball before I go nuts. So, like, cool, you drive up a pitch count. That's nice, I guess, but that's like pretty much it. So yeah, we're a little bit far out. I liked Ryan O'Hearn. I mean, he crushed us, which was I think a good like tryout almost for him. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of open to whoever, and it can't come soon enough in my opinion. But moving on to, we're gonna talk a little bit about Cole Young. So he made his debut in this last homestand, and obviously his debut game was solid in the sense he got his, did he get his first hit that day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
earlier on in the game. And then he of course has the walk-off fielder's choice, which ironically to Ty France, former Mariner. And yeah, good for him, but unfortunately since then he has gotten a single hit. He's now 1 for 15 right now, and
Yeah.
his only RBI has been that walk-off. So you know, I think with me, Cole Young is, seen as the future of second base. So obviously you're going to give him more than 15 ABs to help prove himself a bit. But how are you guys feeling about Cole Young right now?
I haven't disliked the at bats necessarily. There's been a couple where I'm like, all right, like sure, you're maybe a little overmatched or just not expecting the pitch mix coming at you. I didn't see it happen, but it might have been Kramer tweeted about he like hit like a 400-foot foul ball
He did
that
the other
could
Thing
day.
have
was
been.
Yeah.
crushed.
Yeah, so like you can still see that the game power's there. I think it'll level out. I did never expected him to come up and just light the world on fire.
Mhm.
Yes, the heater he was on in Tacoma could have been maybe utilized a week earlier, and maybe he still would have had some of that magic coming up, if that makes sense. Still holding on to whatever copium that holds. But so long as he's not striking out at a ridiculous rate, yes, he's struck out 5 times in 13 at bats, which is not good. That will level out. He's played good defense. I haven't disliked what I've seen. Of course, you want more than 1 for 15, but it is still very early. And I think that given the what we've seen out of everyone else so far at second base, I'm willing to be patient with him because he's shown every single level that he can hit in the minors. It's just when will he make that adjustment to the major league level? Probably sooner rather than later would be my assumption. It's just not going to be as drastic as it was in Tacoma. He did get off to an awful start this year in AAA and then immediately kicked it on in the month of May. So if it's a 2 3 week slow start, I could see him getting closer back to like a league average bat, but I don't think he'll be in the 130s like he ended up finishing with Tacoma so far this year.
The Mariners find themselves in a weird spot because they have so many young guys coming up that are supposed to be, the guys of the future. I think you can even include Ben Williamson in what I'm about to say, but who got off to a good start, by the way. Ben Williamson got off to a great start with the team. But the Mariners over the last few years have been in contention mode, like every single year. Do you have time to bring up a player like Cole Young? Do you have the opportunity to let him just run with it at second base and see what you have with him? Because that's what you have to do with a young player. You have to let them get their feet wet and let them run with it and let them go through the bumps and bruises they're going to get along the way before they could turn into a polished major leaguer. That's just the way it works. A lot of teams, when they do a full rebuild, they bring all those guys up like towards the end of the rebuild. They get a year or two under their belt, and then they turn into above league average players for a lot of those guys. Not to say that Cole Young can't do that this year. We saw Evan Carter do it with the Rangers in the year they won the World Series and guys like that. But because the Mariners are in a weird spot where they think they're in this contention window right now, they should be in this contention window right now, but now you're running out Cole Young, who's going to fall down. He's going to get knocked down at the big league level. It's going to happen. How long can you run with it before you get somebody that you know can produce? I'm not sure. Frankly, I'm fine with Cole Young being the starting second baseman until the All-Star break at least, and just see where we're at. You know what I mean? Let play him every single day, see where we're at. I trust Cole Young over Dylan Moore. I can't
Yeah, you do.
I can't oh we'll get to the are the things that grind our gears shortly. My bad, my bad. But yeah, I think that this is a team where you need to bring guys up. Same thing with Harry Ford, right? Like you need to bring him up and just let him get his feet wet and see what he can do. Because if you wait till next year and now you're relying on Harry Ford to be the backup catcher, you're kind of screwed because he's gonna struggle. It's gonna happen. That's just the way baseball works. You have to let these guys go through the struggles so they can turn into polished major league players, and that's what they're doing with Cole Young and Ben Williamson. I think he'll be fine. I think as long as he gets to a close to league average WRC plus, I'm more than happy with Cole Young at second base.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been 15 ABs, so I don't think that you can really draw any conclusions
Mhm.
yet. I will agree that some of his at bats, he's definitely looked overmatched, which has been a little interesting as far as, I don't know. You just worry that that's going to persist, but, at the same time, like, you just got to let him work it out and kind of get used to it and go from there. And, now he's going to be out of T-Mobile. He's going to go on his first road trip. So we'll see how that goes, being in different parks that are maybe a bit more hitter friendly than T-Mobile. Yeah, hopefully he can get some knocks in this next series and kind of start building upon that. Because ultimately Cole Young is going to be more of a contact guy than a power guy. He has in-game power, like we mentioned earlier. I mean, he hit a pretty monster home run foul earlier in the series, and but he's just never really been like a power guy. He's going to be a much more of a base hit doubles guy. So yeah, just gonna kind of see how it plays out. Yeah, so now going into I guess we'll go into the playoff chances first before we go into the grinding gears stuff. So yeah, with the way the team has looked recently, I'm sure it's pretty easy for Mariners fans who have been through the turmoil of being a Mariners fan for a long time. You don't really hold on to hope very long. You kind of, it's very easy to become pessimistic pretty quickly. Regardless of that, though, where are you guys at as far as the chances of the Mariners making the playoffs, whether it's winning the division or not? Do you still feel like they're very strong contenders? Do you feel maybe a bit more cautiously optimistic now, or what? Because I'm sure, if we answered this question a few weeks ago, we probably would be answering it a bit different than we are today. So where are you guys
Oh
at?
yeah.
With how bad this division is, I think they'll always be contenders for this division. Now, we saw that over the past couple years, and obviously they still missed the playoffs. So it's a tough question. I think this is a playoff team, so I guess I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I think that the guys that you have and the guys that you're getting back in Logan Gilbert, Luke Raley, etc., the law of averages says this team's going to
Hmm.
turn it around to somewhere between what they were in April and what they were in May. They're not going to be as good as they were in April, probably, but they're not going to be as bad as they were in May. Law of averages, right? I don't know. I'm not a
I thought that
physicist or
last year, and then they just never
that's
got
true.
better.
That's a
So
good point. It's just like the 2023 Rangers, right? I kept saying, "Oh, they're not going to hit like the murderers row Yankees the whole season."
Guess what they did?
I mean, they technically didn't actually. They just played so well at the start of the year that when they sucked in the second half, they still skated in, and then they got really good for 2 weeks. But yeah,
Well,
still,
they
yeah,
won a World Series
they
doing it, so
did. They did. Yeah, just not necessarily all from that. Well, so let's not get into semantics here, Joseph. Okay, you're
you're the
making my
one.
you're making my hair bounce when I hit you with one of these. Um, yeah, I think this is still a playoff team. I think that especially if they can add a guy or two at the deadline that makes a big difference. Um, I think that they'll find a way into a wild card at the very least. Do I think they're a better team than the Astros? Yes, I do. I think they're better than the Astros. I think that the Astros are cheating at home again.
When
It's
healthy
happening.
or right now?
When
As
healthy.
constructed right now. Okay.
Yeah, when healthy. Because we saw them earlier in the year take two of three from the Astros. Obviously, they kind of stole a win in there. But then that was still with Luke Raley. That was still with Logan Gilbert. You know what I mean? The Astros got George Kirby in that series, who was pretty mediocre. So I don't know. It's of course the Astros have their injuries too. I think the Mariners are a better team. Now, are they going to play like it? Hell if I know, because it sure hasn't looked like it, but I think they're the better team.
I might take the divish route here and say,
It's
yeah,
50-50.
it's 50-50. I think Fangraphs has them at like 40% right now to make the postseason.
But it was also like 75 a couple weeks ago or something.
Exactly. I mean, sure, exactly. Like, does this team obviously has the capacity to win 9 consecutive series. They also have the same capacity to go like 10-15 over their last 25 and get swept by the Blue Jays, who were below 500 at the time, and then the basement dwelling Orioles in the American League East. So they've shown that they've shown their strengths, they've shown their weaknesses. I think this team, I am always and forever will be cautiously optimistic because I don't think I would enjoy watching this sport if I was not. If I did not go into every game expecting them to look like a competent baseball team. Of course, they let me down more often than not when I do that, but and it's weird to feel the way I do about this upcoming Angel series because I do feel very discouraged. But over the long term, over the next 100 games, which is close to what they have left,
I think
I
today was
think.
game number 60. So I think they have 102.
Yeah. Um, I feel confident in the sense that the team that we've seen over the last two homestands is not the true identity. But of course, I don't think that they're the 9 consecutive series win team either. Similar to you, like law of averages, like it's a cop out answer because it's the same thing as you. But eventually, something has to click for a handful of players. It's not going to work all at once for everybody. And whether or not those are people that are currently on the team or guys that they acquire or people that they bring up through the system. Like we're talking about bullpen guys. You mentioned Sar and Lau. Does Brandon Garcia get a cup of coffee this year? We'll see. He's looked pretty decent down in Arkansas. Oh, he's been good. Don't you shake your head at me. He's been good. Okay, he's been good. So I would say if they do make the postseason, I would expect it to be a wild card because we've seen the Astros maybe even play not like down, but in moments where it felt like the Astros were going away, they then did not. And that has felt true so far this season in the sense of the first 60 games, right? Will that ring true for the next 100? We'll just again, you just have to see how the games play out. I would expect the Mariners and the Astros to be the two teams in and at the end. One of them, God, if there's because the Central's weird with how many teams that they could have in the wild card. Because I don't know if a West team's going if they don't win the division. So
Yeah. I feel like
what, guys?
my
What?
nothing.
No, I'll just leave if you want.
No, it's fine.
No,
You-
I could just go.
no, you're good.
The
You're
door's like
good.
right there. I just.
You're fine. I want you to stay. So
Are we sure?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh,
I just
only you do.
I just need
Maybe not Colton.
I
No
think
comment.
wow. The girls are fighting. So I feel like the way I see it is, obviously the vibes are pretty low right now. I will remind you, it's like, look, especially, my YouTube channel is an easy way to look at this. Like a few weeks ago, look at the titles of the podcast, right? It was very positive. Everything was really high and they were playing really well. But that's just how quick a season can change. But it doesn't mean it's not going to change upwards. It's going to change downwards probably at some points. It's just, well, will we get more up than down? Who knows? I think I'm a little wary when it comes to the playoff chance, just because, I mean, you still have teams in the wild card. Like the minute right now, you're technically out of a wild card spot if the season ended right now by 0.5 games. Right now, you have the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Guardians, Tampa Bay Rays, and Toronto Blue Jays that are above the line right now. Kansas City Royals are tied with you right now in the wild card. You still have the Boston Red Sox, Texas Rangers. Who knows? After that, I mean, the Orioles would have to go on an insane run, and I just don't. They don't have the starting pitching or in general to go on that run. I don't think. So really, you're kind of going between the teams that are already in there, plus the Royals and Red Sox are probably your biggest threats right now. And it's just one of those things where I feel like it's going to be like last year. It's going to be a big toss up, and we're going to get to the end of the year, and everyone's going to be trying to do the math and like, oh, this person, if they win this game, blah blah blah. It's going to be super duper annoying. I hate that part of the year. But at the same time, like, it's hard. I don't know if I can be how optimistic to be about Logan Gilbert coming back, just because even before he got hurt, he was kind of shaky. He just wasn't the Gilbert that we were used to seeing. So there was that, and then Rayleigh, it's like, who knows? I mean, I think he'll be fine. He was fine last year. Hopefully he'll be fine again this year. I really wonder how the season would be playing out right now if we still had Victor Robles. That would be an interesting kind of like, if I could look into alternate dimensions, that would be a very cool to look at and see what that looks like. But yeah, the boys are currently probably still on a plane down to Anaheim right now. They're going to be starting a 3-game stretch in Anaheim against the Angels starting tomorrow night. First game, you have Bryce Miller versus Kyle Hendricks. Second game, Luis Castillo versus Jack Kachanowicz. Kakonowitz? Is it, or is it just Konowitz?
Kahanowitz. It's like a K. It's like,
Kahanowitz?
yeah,
Okay.
it's an H sound.
Fair enough. Okay. And then game 3, George Kirby versus Tyler Anderson. It's hard because it's like I look at these probables and I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I would take Bryce Miller over Kyle Hendricks, but it feels like Kyle Hendricks always kind of like carves us a little bit, or I don't know if that's him, but there's some guy who doesn't throw very hard that feels like he always just carves us, like either Kyle Hendricks or maybe I'm thinking about like Gibson or something. Castillo's been solid. Kahanowitz, well,
There you go.
we'll see. And then Kirby, I'm tossing that game up in the air. Who knows? So I really feel like we really need to take those first 2 games if we want to win this series. So yeah, but let's go into the next one. And I know you guys are a little excited about this. We're going to do a segment called Grinding My Gears. So we're going to let out some of our Mariner demons as far as what's grinding our gears right now at this time. Could be one, could be a couple different things, not 8 or 10 things. Like, let's keep to like 1 to 3. And what is grinding our gears right now? Joe, do you want to start us off?
I think Colton really wants to start.
I think
start
Colton
us
does.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were very
Colton,
excited when I brought this up earlier.
How much time you got? All right, I'll fix my chair. Hold on. Yeah, man, the contact play. Just don't do it. Just don't. Don't do the contact play.
Don't.
We've seen it work out maybe like 20% of the time. You know what I mean? Like we saw JP Crawford getting thrown out at home yesterday. Like we saw it work on the Cole Young walk off. Cool. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. That grinds my gears. I hate watching you get a runner to third base and you're like, contact play. And Fields in, and they're just like, oh, all right. And they just throw you out. That's so lame. It's a great way to kill a rally. It's number 1. Number 2, good baseball teams do not carry Donovan Solano, Mitch Garver, not as much so, but Miles Mastrobuoni. You don't carry those 3. And a good baseball team would put Jorge Polanco on the injured list. A good baseball team would stop letting Jorge Polanco go up there. He's batting right-handed. He's like, dropping down a bunt. Here we go. Jorge Polanco dropping down a bunt. What are we doing? If he's not comfortable hitting for the right side, if he can't play the field, put him on the injured list. Call up Tyler Locklear. Call up Harry Ford. Call up Samad Taylor. Get somebody that can play, because you're basically playing 3 guys down right now. You don't trust Mitch Garver to swing the baseball bat. You don't trust Donovan Solano to swing the baseball bat. And you don't trust right-handed Jorge Polanco. Who the hell's going to bat right-handed for you? I don't know. I am. I'm getting up there and I'm going to hit. That grinds my gears. And then finally, and this was something the Marine Layer guys brought up, the bullpen usage from Dan Wilson blows my mind every time I see it. Every time. Oh,
you're getting a little Heath Ledger jokery there. My father was a bullpen manager.
And like The Marine Lair boys brought it up. The guy that's thrown the most innings in this bullpen is Edward Bizardo.
Eddie.
Edward Bizardo's bad, guys. Number two is like Colin Snyder, and then it's Carlos Vargas, who's been more or less fine, but the guys who have thrown the least is like Andres Munoz, obviously Matt Brash was hurt, so that's a little bit different, but those are the guys that are going to keep you in games or win you ball games, not Edward Bizardo. And obviously some of that is because the Mariners just have been losing, so they may as well not waste one of their other guys. But at the same time, you need to throw your best relievers more. It's just plain and simple. You have to throw your best relievers more. And as Lyle and TJ mentioned, that's what they did during like the 2023-2022 season. They threw their best relievers all the time. And it worked out. It worked out great, more often than not. Unfortunately, not been the case this year, and the bullpen sucks because of it.
It's definitely suffering because of it. Jake, do you have one that you'd like to rip off before I get mine out there?
So I had one, and then Colton reminded me of another. So first, the one that Colton reminded me of is Jorge Polanco. Stop fucking trying to bunt, please. I'm gonna lose my mind. You are not a good bunter. You are not. You are terrible. You are the worst bunter I've ever seen. Actually, is what I would say.
The third baseman's back, though. The third baseman's back.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, it's always been, well, not always, but it's usually been in like high leverage situations, right? Or it's just, I don't know. I don't get it, because you're also not a fast runner either. So even
He
if
stole
the
a
third
base.
baseman is oh, great, good for him. Yeah,
So is Cal Raleigh.
So yeah, Cal Raleigh's a speedster now. Okay, cool. It just it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I'm sorry, but that you were not paid $7-something million a year to throw down bunts. You were supposed to be hitting line drives and home runs like you started the year on. And he tried to do it, I don't know if it was earlier today or the other game, and I literally, I think I was in my car and saw it happen. I saw him try to lay down a butt, went foul, and I audibly was like, "What are you doing? Like, stop, please, for the love of God!" It hasn't worked once for him. Not a single time has it worked for him. So why do you keep trying it? It's crazy. And then the other thing that's been my biggest thing right now are in Randy Arozarena and Mitch Garver are the biggest problems when it comes to this issue for me right now. Strikeout looking. It's pissing me off.
And just walk back to the dugout all
and
sad.
Randy Arozarena has done it, especially this series. He did it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And Mitch Garver did it a couple times the other day too. And Mitch Garver's the other day, it was kind of a paint corner pitch, so like whatever. Randy's are down the middle. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it. And I know my mic's clipping right now because it really frustrates me. Because here's my problem with striking out looking in general. Okay, unless it's a painted pitch, then I can understand it to a degree. However, you learn in T-ball, well, not T-ball because there's no strike zone.
The ball's there.
Sorry.
Hit the ball there.
You learn starting in Little League, right? When you have 2 strikes, you have to go with anything close, right? And especially the way umps are right now, you have to go with anything close, okay? And so it just frustrates me because the problem is every time you go up to bat, you are trying to do damage. You cannot do damage if you don't swing the bat, right? I mean, sure, you could walk, but that's not the case right now, right? Like, it is maddening to watch Randy, especially, swing through a fastball up in the zone, swing at some breaking pitch right in the dirt, and then watch strike 3 down the pipe. Yep. And like, he doesn't necessarily act confused, but he just is like, oh, yeah.
Messed that one up.
The pitcher didn't even beat you. You just didn't even try. Like, it grinds my gears because I'm sorry, but when an offense desperately needs to do damage like they do right now, that frustrates me more than anything because it's just, you can't do damage if you don't swing the damn bat. Right? Like, it's just, that's how it works. And it's just maddening because it just leads into when the offense is scuffling like this. And it leads into that feeling like there's just no sense of urgency to like right the ship here. And Yeah, and I think my biggest problem is just the fact that it's happened like 4 times recently with Rosarena in like the last 3 games. And each time I'm just like, I am going insane. I'm going nuts.
Did you
Because
see
these aren't even
Julio's
fringe
today?
pitch. Because none of them are fringe pitches for at least a Rosarena's case. None of them were painted. They
Yeah.
were down the pipe. So yeah, I can't take it. But Joe, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you see Julio's today?
I didn't. I was not watching that at bat.
Okay, it was about as middle as you can get, and he just watched it go by, and it was like he'd never seen a baseball thrown his way before in his life. It looked like it was incredible. We're both Colton and I both like were astonished, vocab, at the fact that he just watched a pitch that he could probably hit 600 feet if he really swung at the bat, like swung the bat at it. You know what I mean? Like it was right there, a cookie.
Yep.
My thing, I'm gonna like backpack off of Switch. He's been on Twitter publicly outing Dan Wilson's decision. Whether or not it's his decision or not, I don't know who writes the lineups. I don't care who writes the lineups. It doesn't matter. Jorge Polanco has been your worst, absolute worst. Maybe not, probably absolute. He's been awful in the month of May, leading into June. And they're still telling him, hey, man, you can get the second most at bats every single time a righty's on the mound. Good luck. Have fun. Try and hit the baseball, buddy. You can do it. When you have Cal Raleigh batting fourth, he is not guaranteed an at bat in the first inning because they continue to put Jorge Polanco at the second spot in the lineup. It should be JP. If they really are so fascinated with the idea of a switch hitter batting two, put Cal Raleigh two for all I care. It doesn't matter. He at least needs to be in the top three. I would go JP, Julio, Cal, just for my personal preference. But if there is that fascination, some sort of fetishization with switch hitting in the two-hole spot, put Cal there and move Polo down to 6 where he belongs because he has been absolute ass. And that's my main thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep. Do you have another one?
You had 5. I don't need to spell out 30 more. All the gripes are all going to be roughly the same thing, right? We're going to get a little redundant here. You got more?
Joe's complacent. Joe's okay with how bad the team is right now.
No,
That's
you
crazy.
you just said 3 things that I also agree with.
Yeah. So
Cole Young should be batting 2. How about that? That was the thing
gosh.
that grinded my gears on his debut is he should be batting 2. I
mean-
wanted a first inning AB for Cole Young.
maybe in a few months' time, but not now. Yeah, well, that's I would love to know what you guys think down below. What's grinding your gears right now. I'm sure there's plenty going on. I definitely agree with Jorge Polanco right now, and it's kind of tough just after the start he had. It's been sad to see our GOAT leave like he has and go down like he has. So we're gonna end this out on a bit of a lighter note. I queried for questions on Twitter, and y'all put a thing out on your Discord server as well. And so we're going to go through those. So first, from the Discord, he who should not be named said, how did you guys meet? Online or IRL? Well,
We know that everyone knows this.
we all met online, of course. I do not know Colton and Joe personally, other than the few times we've met and hung out briefly. So, but as far as when we met, it was online. And I am assuming, I don't know who sent the first DM necessarily, but probably was me because I was looking for interviews. So I think had you guys on my channel around Christmas of 2023. It was my winter special. And I had the nice snow background. I missed that. It was kind of a vibe.
Take us back.
So yeah, and then as far as Colton and Joe go, I mean, I think we know they've been together and inseparable since they're babies. So
That's right. You can watch the video that is on Jake's channel that Jake is going to link above my head right now. Good luck in the editing process.
I'll just play. It's gonna go somewhere on the timeline.
There you
go. Somewhere. Yeah. Do you guys have anything to add to that? I guess not. Probably.
It's something that we've hashed out, I think, a handful of times. If people don't know, Colt and I have been friends since 6th grade. We've known each other before that, and we've been best friends pretty much ever since then. And then we started the Mariner Mojo YouTube channel. Colton started it in 2022 of August, and I jumped on about 2.5 weeks after that, and the rest is history. We're still kicking.
Yep. Very cool. All right, moving on to Mara, who is in their the Mojo Guys' Discord, asked if we could make a baseball team made out of Mariners content creators. Who would be on the team? What position do they play, and where do they bat in the order? I will say I don't think we know enough to field the whole team, so I think we're just going to have to go through who we know and kind of just assign where they would probably play. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do we know of anyone that was a catcher at any point? Because that's the one I have no idea about.
No.
I'm thinking about putting Colby back there.
I mean,
Colby.
if need be, I could put on the pads. What do you mean? I had soft hands like when we played pickup football. I got big enough hands too. Like I think I could make it work.
It's a good combination.
Be pretty big like gear, but I think I could make it work. If need be. I'm just saying this is a sword that I'm willing to fall onto.
I would love to watch you walking around in catcher's gear, hearing the clank of the metal leg guards, or not metal, the plastic leg guards. What is it gonna? We can't see your catching position.
I'm squatting. It's old school. It's not one knee down.
Yeah, you should do one knee down. That's like the
hell
times
no
right now.
No, I don't have.
He's not going to get back up.
Yeah,
he won't get back
Good
up.
luck.
I don't have the gear on.
I would say, yeah. So I guess we'll just have to go one by one. So I guess let's as far as the locked on guys go, Colby, I could see being a catcher for sure.
Same.
Maybe even like a DH type for sure, but probably I could see him being catcher. What do you guys think? Catcher? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I say catcher.
Ty, I feel like I don't know what his speed is like, but he seems like
Third base or right field is where I'd put him.
I was gonna say a corner outfielder, maybe even like shortstop for all I know.
I was gonna say second. So we're kind of
I can see
middle
that too.
infield corner.
I feel like Ty. Maybe
How tall is Ty?
I don't know.
I honestly think Ty's bigger than the average. Like if we're looking around the rest of the content creator community, right? I think there are other people that maybe fit better at second base than Ty Dane Gonzalez personally.
Okay.
Like I might put Connor there. I might put the Couch GM at second base.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Connor has a little bit of like muscle to him, so maybe a bit more of like a third base type.
He's gonna be a compact third baseman though. You know what I mean? Like he's on the shorter side. No disrespect, of course. We love our short kings.
I
But
haven't met Connor, so I wouldn't know.
like I'd put Lyle at third or short.
I would say Lyle
Interesting.
at short.
Interesting. Okay.
Either that or center.
I was thinking center.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, Lyle is
But we also have to consider like Brady. We have to consider Ben.
So
like those are legitimate, actual collegiate level athletes that yes, they're like Brady was a pitcher, right?
So Ben would be center field because I think that was his thing in college.
And
so
which
Ben
is
would
why
be center field.
I'm giving Lyle shortstop.
Yeah. And then Brady was a pitcher, so he'd have to be pitcher.
He's on the bump.
And then Gavin, I think, was a pitcher too. So I think that's a little bit tough. Like maybe Gavin is like the starter and Brady's like the reliever, like the closer.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
One of them could also play the field if we're like treating this like a high school game. Like one of them is in an outfield spot or playing third or short.
Yeah.
With like a strong arm in that way.
Yeah.
I think TJ's at second.
Yeah, I could see that.
Where are we
TJ and
putting
Lyle
Connor?
in the middle infield.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
They have the
then
chemistry.
Connor at third.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, so but where do you guys go?
I was gonna say, are we not playing in this?
Yeah.
What fatties take over first base and DH?
I played first base.
Jake's the tallest.
I played
the
first
tallest.
base, so
I'm just saying I was all league third team because I had a perfect fielding percentage senior year. That's all I'm going to say. At first base. A position that I didn't play for 3 years because somebody took it away from me.
Could have been anyone.
Could have been anybody.
yeah. I guess you could go first base. I would probably be more DH, but then that leaves where does Colton go?
Keeping the book on the bench.
You're telling me the only options right now are outfield?
Honestly, no. So if there's a
I
corner
mean-
outfield, if there's a corner outfield spot, I can go there because that's where I was relegated to was third base, corner outfield because Colton was playing first.
So in Colton,
In
are
high
you
school.
DH or are you first? Ahead of me.
I mean, you're tall. You're tall.
So I
think
guess
that-
I'm probably more of the first base or the DH.
Jake,
enough.
I have a question for you though.
Uh-huh.
Could you do the splits when you were playing the field? Colton could. Colton could. Colton's got the stretch.
Kenny still. Do the splits?
Maybe. I mean, I did it on accident playing softball a few years
I
ago,
was
and it
saying
hurt
he's
really bad.
he's gonna
Yeah.
stretch for one, and then the gravity's gonna push him down into the splits.
I couldn't do splits, but I could. I was a pretty decent defensive as far. I couldn't pick the ball out of the dirt very well. I was never really good at that, but I could extend pretty far to help out.
You got
So,
long limbs.
yes. So
If we're playing like softball or something like that, Jake, we just switch off every inning.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
so final decision here.
So I
Colby
guess
catching.
Colby.
So Brady.
So
go.
one is Gavin technically starting probably, and then Brady is the reliever. Then we
Okay.
have 2 is a catcher is Colby. 3 first base is a mixture of DH and me and Colton.
Okay.
And then second base is TJ.
Sure.
Shortstop is Lyle. Third base is Couch GM.
Okay.
And then center field's Ben Ranieri. And then who did we put?
So
corner?
either corner outfield would have been the either Gavin
Jay's
or Brady,
Trident.
or we could do Ty.
Ty and Jay's Trident are the corner outfielders. I would say. Yeah. Oh, you're
What
not.
about me?
I thought you. Oh, wait.
What do you mean?
What did we
Was
say
I was
you
I
were
was I
going?
was I not was I
So,
not
okay,
a corner outfielder?
sorry. I thought I said you, or
No, you're fine.
what did we decide for you? We said corner outfield for you.
Corner outfield because you and Colton are splitting time at first. Are you a left-handed hitter?
We're a platoon. No, I'm not.
Oh, shame.
But I'll make do. I'm fine. I can.
Is there anyone we're missing?
We have a roster of
Well,
25
there's Jay's
people, you know what I
Trident.
mean?
There's Jage. I mean, there's a bunch of people
There's a
we
lot
could
of people
put.
we're missing.
Can I be
Up
honest with
west.
you?
Yeah.
Well, Gavin. I guess the rest of the people, like the rest of
Yeah.
the homies up west too. I could see. I mean, do we need a manager? Could Jay be the manager?
Jay would be a great manager. He's
I
so
think he'd be a
positive.
phenomenal manager.
Yes. I would. Yeah, Jay's Trident would be a good manager.
Who's first and third base coach?
Ooh, yeah.
Like
Ooh.
I
feel
could
like-
see sneaky good third base coach East Coast M's.
Yeah.
I don't
could
know
see
why.
that.
I could see him getting like us like jazzed up.
Well, I feel like
but
East
he
Coast M's
also
almost has to be in the field.
I might agree.
Yeah, he played I don't know if it was I don't know, he played a little bit of college ball. So I feel like he actually needs to maybe be in a position. I would say Colton
Might have
can
gotten
play
snubbed.
first. I'll be the Tellez bench piece. Okay, when you need a home run, you come to me. All right.
Okay.
And we need to put East Coast probably somewhere. So maybe that's where I don't know what he played. I feel like he played second or short maybe or corner outfield, but I don't know for sure.
We can just make him hit left-handed, and so he'll be the strong side platoon at second base.
Sure.
We'll give him attributes. We're editing
Yeah.
players right now, and it will be the show.
I would say Jage is a good bench coach. He'd be like
Yeah.
the strategic guy for the most
I
part.
can see that.
I can see that. Or third base coach, or actually no, I think he'd be a good first base coach because I
Yeah,
feel
I
like he'd be the kind of guy to like make like handshakes with people when they reach base and like do the noggin pound and like that type of stuff.
I think
Yeah.
Brennan's the bench coach. Pine size analyze.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's the analytics guy. He's the one coming up to you in the dugout with an iPad, being like, "Hey, you know,
Here's what you did your last at bat. Don't do it again.
this dude has an IVB of whatever, and you
Yeah.
know when he throws it in the 3-2 count, your xWOBA goes down by 2%, like that type of thing." So yeah, I could see that. So yeah, I guess so. The coaching staff is now Jay's Trident as manager, and then Jage is bench coach or third base, or sorry, first base. I did the same thing: bench, third, first,
Yeah.
first base.
All of them. He'll go
Yeah.
do all of them at once.
Yeah, for sure. Or I could be third base coach too. So I'm not the Tellez DH piece, but I want to be the guy who's hitting dingers. So
I mean, make yourself that. You have free will in this, Jake.
yeah, I'm gonna be the bench piece. You know, you go to me when you just need a good home run, and I come up clutch for you. So yeah, okay. Are we feeling good about that, or anyone else we feel like we're missing out? I feel like we're gonna miss someone, and we're gonna
There's plenty of people.
That team's beating the Rockies.
They might take the Mariners in 7 at this point. I don't know. I hit 1 home run, so
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Very last question from Ty from Up West on Twitter. What levels and sections do each of you all prefer when attending an M's home game? We'll start with the resident expert here, Colton.
Colton, don't gatekeep.
Don't gatekeep the stairwell.
Don't gatekeep the stairwell.
Ty, I like buying the cheapest ticket imaginable, going and standing in the stairwell in right center field where it says how many days until each hero gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. Standing there on the same level as the Hit It Here Cafe. That got enhanced the other day
Yeah, I was gonna
when
say
we
we
were
got
there.
it. We got patched, dude. We got an upgrade.
Yeah, we got an update to that because now I didn't realize before, but when you're on that level, you can go in and order like brewskis at the bar there. There's a bathroom in there that's warm and toasty. Like you could just walk into the Hit It Here Cafe, and I don't know if it's that way every time. Like I'm sure people can rent out the cafe or something like that. Rich people. But like it's all right there, and it's never like there's never a billion people up there except for like maybe a playoff game or something like that, or like a really really big game. But yeah, that's the spot. Otherwise, I like if it's like a midsummer day and I'm going with a bunch of like family and stuff, people that can't stand the whole time. I will go probably third base side if it's like sunny, just because hell, I don't want to get sunburned. Third base side, honestly, anywhere. I love sitting anywhere on the third base side, but if I want a good view of the city, I'm sitting first base side 300 level. Pick
Yep.
your poison.
Fair enough. Joe, go
I'm
ahead.
I'm just the passenger princess. So wherever Colton decides we're going,
That's
we
true.
go. But
That's
if
true.
if I were to go, I'll say this. I will tell you a place not to sit. I went with my dad like 2 years ago, and we sat on the third base side, but like kind of like directly underneath the terrace club, like the 200 level where the speakers are.
Hmm.
So like it was like conflicting audio the entire time. Like you couldn't hear the PA announcer. Like they're pumping in things there through the speakers. It was such a jarring audio experience with like the crowd around you as well. Don't sit directly underneath the overhang in like the what is the main level? Is that what it's called? The main level?
The main level is the bottom level, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Top
Don't
one.
sit directly underneath like anything that looks like there could be a speaker. Either get closer or move further back in the section. Don't sit in the middle of the sections because you're probably going to get stadium volume pumped in with the crowd. It was, as someone who doesn't process audio super well all the time, I was in hell.
Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, so I would say I feel like I've done pretty good as far as like change it up where I sit most times. So I feel like I've gotten a good taste of different places. But my favorite weirdly has been
The
in
bleachers.
the left center bleachers. But first row. Yeah, so first row, left center, as center as you can get, and get in that first row. The Mariners bullpen's right under you, so you can watch them warm up from up top, and then you have a good view. And what I liked is you can see the pitch movement instead. You're basically watching like just a broadcast view, almost like just to the left, like to the right a little
Yeah.
bit more. But I liked that because when you're sitting to the side or up top or whatever, I mean, you can tell if things are a strike, either, high or low and that type of thing. You can't really tell left or right. And, also like movement can be hard to notice too, especially with how fast the pitches are to like the naked eye and to us who don't play baseball. You're just like, wow, that's like it's so quick. But when you're there, I mean, it's like broadcast view, so you can see the movement and all that, and I really enjoyed it. I will say, if it is rainy or inclement weather of any kind, do not sit there because that's right where the big like hole in the roof is, basically on the whole left field side. It's just open, and
Yeah.
yeah, the wind and rain gets in a little bit there, and it can be a little rough. It kind of creates a little vortex in a way where the wind's just blowing in. So it can be a little rough in that sense. So I would say that's been my favorite thus far, and it's cheaper-ish tickets
Mhm.
comparatively. So I would, so once again, left center field, as center as you can get in the bleachers that are a bit elevated in left field. One place I want to sit that I haven't yet is, at this point, I kind of want to sit like third base side as kind of level with Randy Arozarena, because if you don't know, Randy Arozarena apparently has this thing where every time the Mariners get an out, even if it's in the infield or whatever, they throw the ball to him in the outfield, and then he likes to chuck the balls into the seats near him. He really loves just like throwing balls to fans and whatnot. So that would be fun to watch. It'd just be fun to watch him like do that, or hopefully catch one, who knows.
Mhm.
So I have not sitting there before, and Randy Rosarena kind of makes me want to, just for that simple fact. I guess my one honorable mention that I really liked, what the J-Rod squad was fun.
Yeah.
Sat there once. I will say, in the same way as the bleachers, not inclement weather, if it's really hot, you are going to get scorched. Okay. So if it's a not so sunny day, Julio is just pretty interactive for the most part, and it was kind of just fun to watch him interact with the crowd there, especially if he makes a really cool catch. I mean, that's the section he turns to kind of like pump it up and do his no fly zone thing and all that. So yeah, those are some good recommendations, I guess, for y'all. But that's going to be it for this episode of Mariners Rundown. I do want to remind everyone that on, what was it, July 21st? Is that, or June 21st? June 21st.
June from 1 to 4.
Saturday, June 21st, me, Colton, and Joe are doing our second charity stream. It's going to be our one for the first half of this year. We are going to be, this Pride Month, we're going to be doing a charity called the Lambert House, which helps in King County specifically LGBTQ plus youth with essential services in many different things. You can go check out their website to see what kind of services they do. Just seems like a really good cause. Hopefully we can donate and raise some money for them. As far as the stream itself goes, it's going to be on the Mariner Mojo channel. So it's not going to be here on Raise the Trident, just because I don't really have a great setup for streaming. My computer's not that good when it comes to that stuff. So it's going to be, Joe is going to be taking care of that again. And yeah, you, Joe. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun time. We got a couple giveaway items that have been secured already. And it's just going to be a chill vibe. I think they're playing the Chicago Cubs earlier that day, or I think our stream is starting like right after or towards the end of that game. So hopefully they win and bring the good vibes in, and then you guys can come chill with us from 1 to 4 and help a good cause. So come check that out. Mariner Mojo guys, yeah, go ahead and tell the people what you got going on right now and plug your stuff.
Yeah, man. We've been doing post-game streams after pretty much every game. Been a lot of fun doing a lot of that, interacting with you guys, live reactions to whatever the hell happened. Not as fun recently, I will admit, not as fun recently, just because the team has been not so great. But getting to hang out with you guys has definitely been a part of that. So we do a lot of those streams. We have the Hit It Here podcast coming out twice a week. Got another Mariner Mojo meetup coming up in August that we haven't figured out a game for yet, but yeah.
We might have it locked in.
We is a strong term. I wasn't involved in any of that decision making.
Well, it's not going to be the first weekend in August or second weekend in August, because that's Ichiro.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Can't afford that.
It's probably going to be the A's series in August, the 22nd through the 24th. So Saturday, the 23rd is likely second Mojo meetup day. First one was awesome. Everyone that came out, always a pleasure hanging out with you guys and just vibing and having a good time, enjoying the stairwell. Probably run that one back. I don't think there's anything else that is like new.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, obviously your guys' stuff is going to be in the description, so go check out the Mojo guys when you can. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it very much. Especially on the YouTube. Got today a really good email, good news for something else coming up for the Raise the Trident that we announced in due time. That will be cool content later on in late July-ish. So we'll reveal that at some point, but yeah, would appreciate you if you're on the audio platforms, leave the reviews however you do that. Helps me out. I appreciate you if you're listening to audio stuff. If you're listening to audio in this early morning, wake up! And yeah, I will see y'all later. Bye-bye.